World champion Matt. Okay, so he's quite good.
He's been known to be good at Neurona. Yeah.
I cannot see his ID, but he's playing ETF. So we know that. We understand he's on Moonspam. Everyone is, really.
Yeah, quite a few.
There's a lot of it. Dave's on Kate. I mean, I'm assuming that regular viewers will know, but we can briefly explain that Dave is he's the great mind that brought us Diaper, so we can expect that at least. Dan is obviously going to know exactly what Dave is trying to do, so it'd be very interesting to see like how he goes and how he plays against this, and what kind of counterplay Dave has as well. So we've got an early start, we've got an early moon.
So he's going for the fast as opposed to the ice option. They're your two options, right?
So you can rush out against it, or you can just install like a whole load of ice on R&D. That works also. Okay, I've been to see how Dave sets up. Right, there's no ice yet, so he's gonna need a keyhole. He's gonna want to get as many hyperdrives as possible. I got distracted by the judges. We have to obey the officials.
So
it'd be interesting to see how he sets up. So he's already got a fan site. That's going to help because he doesn't have a lot of tutoring. One of his key pieces, of course, is DDoS, which means that he does need to tutor it, and there's no way of getting that except for fan site.
But when there's no ice, you don't actually need to tutor DDoS.
I'm going to assume there will be ice at some point.
Yes.
So I don't think. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Dan is just going to go as fast as possible.
I think that's what he'll do.
Okay, that's pretty dangerous because
he might get one to force just a more of the combo pieces, but I think that's what he'll do. I think that's the only option, really. He knows he can't. If he goes too slow and lets Dave set up, he'll go. You have to force Dave to go earlier. Dave will always go. He'll always combo in some sense, but you have to force him to go with the least pieces you can, right?
So we're actually, I guess we're pretty well versed in Diaper strats.
Sure.
Viewers may not know that there are actually many different types of Diaper. This is actually the very original version of Diaper, which has false echo recursion and clone chips, that kind of thing, and doesn't let any ice get rezzed. So I think that's the one that's much more well known.
Sure.
Dave has not played that for a while. He's gone back to it today, which is quite interesting. The version he's been on for a long time has been an Apocalypse build that uses Faust and has a lot of draw. The idea being that he can get into all the centrals just once and then Apocalypse, and then he drops a keyhole and pops the hyperdrive and things like that. He does it at the same turn, so it's not that version. There are, I'm going to say, almost no breakers in this deck. Those SMCs are 100% for hyperdrivers and false echoes, whatever he needs. We still have no ice from Dan. He has dropped an ELP, which is interesting because that will. I mean, it won't do a lot on the Diaper turn, I guess, but
checking stuff and just he likes to go for Jacksons and the odd checking and just running every now and then keep the opponent honest, that's going to get annoying for. So maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just ignores because of that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And with this moon now that has, I'm going to say 5 counters on it.
Thing is, that's going to bring agendas in the game, right? Like that's the thing. It's going to bring them somewhere, and he has HQ pressure as well. So
I'm not necessarily sure that works against
Dan. It doesn't. It's still good, but it's still going to.
Dan most definitely has Lakshmi as well. So if
that's strong.
Yes, so if he can get a copy of each agenda in hand and Lakshmi with a bunch of counters, then it doesn't matter how many agendas get keyholes, he can protect them all.
So even the turn that you run and trash the Lakshmi, that still holds true?
Yeah, so when you run and trash the Lakshmi, if you've got a load of counters on it, you, especially during a Diaper turn, you almost certainly just throw all the counters, reveal all the agendas in your hand, and just, like, the runner cannot steal those or any copy of those agendas that turn. Yes. That's more relevant against Diaper than most, right? Because Diaper steals all of his agendas in one turn. So I'm interested to see if he uses Lakshmi to, especially it seems like a good plan.
In that scenario, I think you just keyhole all the agendas into the bin and then pass turn, right?
Yes, because then it's hard to win if the agendas are in the bin, but that doesn't necessarily help. I mean, he can't, if they're in hand, he can't trash them from hand. He can wait to the next turn and then run HQ a bunch, I guess, but yeah, we'll have to see.
Yep, and you'd only need 7 Lakshmi counters for all your entire agenda suite, right? So
yeah, so I've got 2 DBSs, interesting, so that's going to help down quite a lot in drawing what he needs. Whatever that may be, he seemed quite confident. We should explain, Dan was the higher seed and chose to play Corp against this Cape. So he's confident that he knows what's happening.
That surprises me. Like, who wants to be diped, right?
And this is not a comment on he's not commenting on Dan. Like, he's obviously an incredible player, but many players, even the very best players, would probably want to just avoid the
variance type.
The unpredictability of such a off-meta deck. One that presumably he hasn't exactly practiced a lot of games against. He has played a fair amount of Dyper, like not a lot, but a few times, so he's familiar with the list, and he'll have a very good idea what it's doing. But he's not going to be. I'm like I say, I'm just interested. I thought he might want to take. The alternative was he was playing a fairly regular whiz against Dave Saya's other deck is a Soul deck. It's got a lot of tag punishment, no boom, but so it's a kind of tag hell Soul. So that would have been quite an interesting matchup. That might have favoured Wizard as well. There are assets in that deck, not a lot, but
sure.
He's not. I guess it's fairly Glacier, so maybe this is a decision he made. He's obviously very confident about this matchup. So we've got the Jeeves down now as well, so this is going to help him kind of really accelerate with these installs. He did pop the Moon for a lot of draw.
Yes. Still not going for ice. I know. See, he's gonna, the one ice I think makes sense. One ice on each central maybe.
So that'll force the DDoS at least. And as I say, Dave has no way of getting that DDoS. He has to just draw into it, or he needs the Artist Colony fan site to tutor it if he doesn't draw it. That's the only way he has of getting that. So he does have the fan site down. So he's basically waiting for Dan to score an agenda. I wonder if Dan is planning to do something really weird with scoring multiple agendas in one turn or something like that. I mean, that is kind of possible in this deck if Dave's not checking remotes. You've got Jeeves, you've got Biotic, things like that. So you can score 2/3/2s. And
you can, yeah.
Surprising Dyper by going from what didn't look like match point to a win is actually a surprisingly effective way of doing it.
Dave always he knows when he might lose, he tends to lean on going prematurely as opposed to going late and missing an opportunity to dive.
So we've got the DDoS, which is pretty big. So DDoS is down. He's got one Hyperdrive and one SMC. So at this point, he's hoping to. He probably needs another Leprechaun, not necessarily, but he probably does. He does not currently need False Echoes, as Dan reses everything and gets a bunch of Lakshmi counters, including a Clone Suffrage, which he's going to use to recur friends, almost certainly. He's got assembly lines as well, so he's going to continue to install things. So he's got remotes. Dave does have Astrolabe, so that is going to help. At this point, he needs to get he probably needs a Leprechaun. He wants to get at least one more Hyperdriver, and then he can SMC either for the last Hyperdriver or the Keyhole, depending. He can go with just 2 Hyperdrivers, and depending on what he's got in hand.
Yeah, I mean, he can, but he also needs more pieces than this, right? And I don't think Dan's about to win the game, so he doesn't have to go yet, right?
He's not about to win the game, but what he is doing is he's establishing a dominant board state. I mean, the momentum at the moment is very heavily with Dan. The thing about Dyper is it kind of doesn't care about momentum if it can get set up, and it just tries to hit you in one turn. Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sort of thinking Dan must have something. He must think the Lakshmi can do it or something. He picked this matchup, as we said, so he must feel like there is something here that is making him favourable.
Yeah, so what we're seeing at the moment is really the kind of early rounds of the bout. Both players are just kind of setting up and feeling each other out. We haven't seen agenda scored yet. I feel like it's all going to come down to, at some point, there's going to be a turn, and the whole game's going to swing in one direction. I'm really interested to see which way it goes.
Dyper does do that.
Well, of course, that's Dyper's plan, so Dyper's definitely going to do that. But I'm really interested to see, I'm really interested to see how Dan plays this one out. That Clone Suffrage is doing some work. He's used it for friends at least once, maybe a couple of times, and he's got the Lakshmi count. He's got like 6 or 7 Lakshmi counts probably at this point. So he can do something kind of funny if he puts down. I don't know. Let's say he puts down a GFI and double advances it, and then reveals one from hand. In fact, he might have a GFI in hand. I think I saw one, so that might be a plan.
Yeah,
that's definitely something you can do. You can reveal a copy in hand, and then there's nothing Dave can do about it.
He's going to have to go for that Lakshmi, right? He has to.
I'm reasonably sure that Dave does not have Film Critic for its worth, so that's definitely a card you might expect to see a one of. Dyper takes up a lot of slots, but he does find room for tech for certain matchups. So
sure, and in faction, Film Critic is huge, right?
Film Critic was a classic one for when he was, I don't know, when there were if he played a lot of PE, or if he was against
also
RP,
the one that can only collect 1 agenda a turn.
Harp, of course. Yeah,
Harp.
Well, Harp, I think Strike was his
solution for Harp. Strike helps,
because that was always a problem for him. So I I'd be interested to see if he has specific tech for Lakshmi. I'm not sure.
I love how he's getting a click for Beth. Like that's just great.
Yeah,
like,
why not?
giving Dyper another click.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? I think one click on the scale of the turn is probably fine. Yeah. So we'll see. So that SMC pop for a hyperdriver, I think. So that might mean that Dave is quite close. If he's got the keyhole in hand and he can get the hyperdriver soon, he can go reasonably soon. We have had a second piece of ice on R&D, so that is relevant. Dave does now need a false echo, just one currently, to get in. I wonder if Dan uses a strategy that I've used several times in my time playing against Dyper, where you kind of fake out that you're not going to put a lot of ice on R&D, but you build it up, and then when you think he's close, you just spend a turn putting 3 ice on R&D.
Sure.
That sets him back many, many, many turns, and it's
Sure.
often very worth it. The only thing that matters, of course, against Dyper is that the inside ice has to be relevant in the run, ideally. Because if you can outstretch him, then it means that the inside ice will get rezzed. So he will probably still try, and if it turns out to be a pop-up or something, then that's not going to help. So
the ice in this deck is traditionally there's only 3 ice, right? So there's Fairchild 3, Architect, and
so
Eli.
I think it's normally 3 of each. Sometimes
3
I
of
think
each
you
of
get
those.
like 2 Architect maybe, but
Sure.
Yeah,
So
I think that's pretty common. I don't know.
Those all will be annoying.
I don't
Architect's
know
a weird
precisely.
one when you're diping. Imagine running through an Architect.
Architect's
18
awful.
times.
Yeah, Architect's awful. It's
But also you might mill them.
So Architect was one of the problems with the more recent versions of Dyper, because it did break ice and Apocalypse, and leaving Architect and R&D is the worst. It will be interesting to see. So there's a couple of spicy tech pieces that we have not mentioned. So let's really quickly mention them now. Dave does run an Escher, which means that if Dan manages to get something res, let's say through an ABT fire, and he may fire an ABT at some point, that is 100% an option.
Yes, he should do that. Like that's one of the ways you beat this deck with purple, right? So
if he does do that, then Dave can Escher to move ice away. If here we go, and there's an ABT. So I'm pretty sure he's going to fire it. Let's see if he gets ice. I wonder if he's got Jackson, so he wants to put more ice in. Oh no, was he revealing the 3 cards? You don't have to reveal them, Dan. Come on, so he's having. If he's firing the ABT and not doing something else. They're going to be in face down.
he was so excited that this was his way of winning the game that he just did it face up.
I wonder if we're getting a judge call now. I'm just trying to glance over to the top tables. Okay, I mean,
it's gonna be they put in face down, right?
I'm reasonably sure they'll go into our cards face down. It'll be a warning for Dan for revealing information and also to tell him to stop being stupid. But that was, I don't know. Like you say, I think he was pretty excited about possibly getting ice. I'm kind of surprised we're still discussing this, if I'm honest. I mean, I'm trying not to be biased here. Obviously, I do favour one of these players, but I feel like that's the correct ruling.
Yeah, no.
Dan?
Even not firing is a benefit to you for revealing the information, because now your whiff doesn't go in the bin, even though that's risk-free because of Jackson and other game states. Like you shouldn't be able to reveal it and then just either do it again or not do it at all. It has to be a penalty in some sense. Like either those cards have to go in the bin. You can't benefit from it. That's all I'm saying.
To answer the Twitch chat, I am reasonably sure there wasn't a shuffle, but there could well be now. So Cooper's lifted the deck out of view and Dan is shuffling 3 cards. Is he just shuffling those 3 cards, or is he shuffling his deck? I think he set the 3. I think he set the 3 cards. It looked like he set the 3 cards to one side.
No, that's his deck.
Or maybe that's the
shuffled.
DBS.
No ABT fire, maybe.
Oh, you think he?
Yeah.
Oh, he's firing again? That's crazy.
That is bad ruling.
Okay, all right.
He whiffed again, but still.
That seems crazy to me. Okay, so
yeah.
I guess we'll find out exactly what the ruling was, but that seemed like another ABT fire, right?
That was another ABT fire.
That is
so
that
the
is
ruling.
crazy.
The original ruling stood. Head judge came over, it was appealed, and the original judge came down.
That is ridiculous. That is a crazy. That just seems ridiculous. Why? So why? Yeah. What now stops Dan from just revealing those 3 cards?
Revealing those cards and go, oops.
Yeah.
Revealing information. Let's do it again.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, so as far as I can tell, it looked like they shuffled it. It's possible they didn't. It looked like Dan shuffled cards, so it looked like a fresh thing. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, ultimately,
back to the game.
An ABT fired and whiffed.
Right. Dave needs to trust the Lakshmi and then go, right? Like, that's... Well, he doesn't have to go quite yet, but he needs to get rid of that Lakshmi pretty soon, I think. I suppose he wants to get rid of it only just before there's no more stuff to res. Like, he doesn't want to He doesn't want to have like another Lakshmi option. The thing is, Dave's gone in very high on the Lakshmi early.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. So it looked like Dan finished that turn by bioticking and installing ice, which is interesting. But he does have infinite money, and he did really want more ice and R&D probably. Raised or unraised, at least unraised is better than nothing.
Saiya looks in a very strong position to me.
He looks decent. He's got the fan sight, so he can get the keyhole if he hasn't drawn it yet. You've got to assume he has. He's got one clone chip.
On money.
He's got one clone chip, so he can false echo twice, which is obviously enough with DDoS, which is on the table, and he has 3 hyperdrivers. He could go this turn. I wonder now if he's trying to work out if there's any way Dan can score 5 points in one turn. It could happen. I mean, if you've got biotics and Gs, you can do a lot. So I'm trying to work out if that's possible.
Is he having a cigarette? He's getting ready to have a cigarette.
He thinks this game is over. Oh, do you want to speak to...
Yeah, I'll just quickly ask the judge what happened.
So the judge wanted to... Yeah. So Dave's having a long, good think about this. He does have the 3 hyperdrivers. I think he's wondering if now's the turn he goes. So this suggests to me he might have a clone chip, a false echo and or a keyhole in hand. He's going to run archive. Okay, he's going to check archives and steal Vitruvius. He thinks Dan can't win next turn. I can't off the top of my head think of a way possible that it might happen. He's going to check a remote, which is nothing. Possibly looking for Jacksons. Jacksons are a danger because his plan is keyhole, so he does need to make sure the board is clear of Jacksons. If he can do it a turn before he goes for the combo, that's beneficial. But he seems reasonably close. He does have the 1 memory free, so he can just drop a false echo. He can't drop the keyhole, so he probably has to keep the keyhole in hand. But if he has the false echo on the table, he can pop all the hyperdrivers. He can install the keyhole, and he can then keyhole, and he can use the false echo clone chip combo to false echo the first 2 ice. He can DDoS the last ice, of course, and then he can keyhole. So he can get almost a full turn worth. I wonder how close he thinks he is. I mean, Dave doesn't necessarily wait till the opponent's close to winning before he combos. If he's ready, he just goes. Do we have a ruling?
I do have a ruling. So it seems like the deciding factor in the ruling was the fact that a judge saw Dan turn it over one at a time straight away, as opposed to the look at your hand and papyrus hands. Like,
right.
That's very different. Like, if he'd seen that, then that's game loss. Like, that's cheating, right? But
so the question is, what if they'd all been ice?
That's an interesting one. Like, if they'd been all but 1 ice, I think the same ruling, you shuffle, right? Because you've just revealed information. If they've all been ice, then you've technically not broken the rules because you reveal any ice, right?
Yeah.
I think that it's a weird one, but I get that. I understand why that was the case. It wouldn't be my ruling, but I also don't know the rules. So, and they've read all of the rules for this level play a lot. So
yeah.
What have I missed?
So you've not missed a lot. Well, you missed a bit. Dave checked the bin and found a Vitruvius in the bin, possibly hit by the ABT. Who knows?
Yep. Oh, but Jackson not fired.
ELP is gone. Jackson was not on the board at the time.
Oh, okay, he trashed Jackson first.
I think Jackson was used before, actually. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
And there are 3 hyperdrivers and a clone chip and DDoS. So
and a fan site.
And a fan site, but there is other Scotland as well. Yes. So Dave can get most of the pieces. He's not super rich, but he's got enough for a couple of false echo installs and a keyhole install. That is a good question. Was it a refire of the ABT or was it just trashed up?
It was refire of ABT.
So he did fire again. So if he hit ice the second time, he would have rezzed it. Interesting.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm not sure. I feel like Dan needs to. I'm not sure how Dan does this. Like it's close. I'm not saying he's behind, but I wonder
he's
if
got to rely on Lakshmi somehow.
I just wonder if he's got another kind of twist. Okay. So what's still moon? So he's going to get more draws. So he's going to get draw for Astrolabe.
Yeah, there's. I mean, unless he goes to the 5 point, I don't think he can get 5 points though. I mean, that's 5, 6, 7, that's 8 advances with installs if you need them. That's a lot of clicks. You can only ever get 1 from Jeeves.
Dave
I can't see it.
Dave did check a remote last time, so I wonder if he's checking to make sure that Dan isn't sneaking out agendas. He does have I'm going to say approximately infinite Lakshmi counters. So Dan could just put an agenda on the table that he's got a copy of in hand and not care about it.
Sure.
He could do that with the GFI. He could do that with the GFI. I wonder if that's... dangerous because that puts him on 5 points, and then Dave almost certainly combos. We're up to 4 ice now, so we're going to need one more false echo to get into R&D. He does have.
He could have one in hand, though, right?
Scotland fan site. He could have one in hand, so he's got tutoring. He can get it for no click even. So I wonder how close Dave is. He might also be trying to make sure that he's thought everything out. So many of these cards that are coming back were face up, which is beneficial because Dave needs to hunt out the Jackson to answer the chat and reasonably sure there is no film critic in this Dyper deck. The reason I'm reasonably certain of that is because yesterday I installed double advanced a GFR on the table to try and trash a Nash, and he did not run it. Out of sync. I was playing sync. If he had a film critic, it would have been quite different, and he had fan sites and stuff. So, so I'm reasonably sure there is not a film critic in this deck. So Lakshmi is definitely a factor. Maybe that's Dave's plan. He's just going to keep the Lakshmi counters. So maybe that's Dan's plan. He's going to keep the Lakshmi counters and just reveal all the agendas he has in hand on the Dyper turn.
Yeah, I don't think Dave's going to let him do that.
Dave could also run the Lakshmi before he combos.
He's not icing HQ, so you either run and trash the Lakshmi or you just run HQ now.
So we've got a clone chip and a false echo, which means that he now has all the false echoes he needs to get into R&D. He has the money to repeatedly reinstall them as well. So 4 ice is currently not enough for Dan.
I think he's going next turn, but Lakshmi's still there. I think you have to run HQ and then at least force him to use Lakshmi counters to show you the agendas now. It
would be nice to force to run and trash the Lakshmi the turn before you combo. I think you have to.
Yeah. Which makes you think he's not going next turn.
Unless you take a different route, you could decide that.
Maybe he's still got to click this turn, and that was just Moon.
No. I think this is Dan at the start of his turn, raising the clone suffrage movement to get it and to get more Lakshmi counters as well.
So, I mean, obviously, he would need to have the fact this deck only runs 3 types of agendas makes that obviously quite not that difficult, but. I suppose he's frenzying. Is this deck likely to run a second Lakshmi? Because if he has another one face down...
I think it is likely to run a second Lakshmi. It doesn't necessarily. I think there are lots of people who play 0, 1 or 2 Lakshmi in this deck. I think Dan is on 2. It's not unlikely.
It's quite normal for Dave to check all the remotes quite methodically before his turn because there's a few things that could just randomly screw him, like he doesn't like Jacksons and things like that. So
he's got to check for Jackson because he's on keyhole.
So I expect the turn before he will check everything.
It's interesting. One thing he can do. So when he keyholes, I mean, we're sitting here and assuming he's going to keyhole agendas, but he doesn't have to, right? He could keyhole anything, and he could run R&D if all the ice has gone from R&D, that kind of thing. Like if Lakshmi is a factor during the combo turn, he could change what he does.
I think the only reason it's up is just simply that he wants to trash it just before it goes, right? Because if you trash it early and then you don't go for a few more turns, you give Dave a chance to Dan a chance to frenz it back and then start building up counters again, and then you have to trash it again. So you just want to trash it at the last possible minute. That's, but not on the turn that you're going. So because he'll just use all the counters.
Okay, so we've got Biotic. Installed in advance many times.
3 times or 4 times?
So he gained 3 credits in hit an
ABC.
So does he fire?
Judge, watch this.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Dan.
Of course you fire. I whiffed again.
And he missed again. Okay, that's pretty.
It's 9 ice deck, so you get it. There's only 4 on the table, so there's 5 in the game. You expect one of those to hit something. I think at least 1 piece of ice in hand.
I think you still fire it. I wonder if you...
He's going to put another piece of ice on R&D, I think.
Yes, he can do. He's got 1 click left for... yes, he is. Okay. He had 1 click left for Jeeves. So Baltic scored out 3-2, but he triggered Jeeves as well. That's 5 ice on R&D, which means that we are 1 false echo short for Dave.
But he can't go this turn either, because even if he has the false echo, because he's got to trust the Lakshmi. Thing is, if Dave has 2 GFIs in hand, and that Lakshmi's up, he will win the game next turn. Because he'll install advance, reveal that GFI, and that's it, right?
Correct. If he has 2 GFIs in hand, that is how he wins this game.
Yeah. So he has to trust Lakshmi
as soon as that happens, Dave combos, right?
He just combos next turn.
Okay, so this is the turn.
Here we go. But Lakshmi's up. I suppose he's got to hope that he doesn't have all the agendas he needs in hand.
So Dave pops his hyperdrivers, and Dan immediately does that thing he does when he's nervous, where he starts fiddling with poker chips. So let's see how this is going to go. Okay, so Dave has spotted 3 hyperdrivers, which means he has gained 9 bonus clicks. He has 4 because he's a runner, and he has 1 because of Beth, Kira, and Chang, and Dan has 16 credits, so over 15. which means he's going to have a grand total of a lot, 14 clicks. So let's see how this goes.
I always watch, I like watching a diaper turn. Like, as much as everyone's like, diaper, but I do like a diaper turn.
I like it when I'm not playing against it.
Yeah, sure.
So let's see how this goes. There's a couple of things Dave is missing. He needs one more false echo on the table. He can currently bounce 3 pieces of ice, which is not enough.
He needs
to
some
bounce 4.
multi-axis pressure of some kind.
He is definitely going to pop the DDoS. Are we going to get Lakshmi used straight away? No. I'm just going to have a fiddle with Lakshmi.
Run HQ and then secret pull-up. That's how he's going to deal with it.
I won't lie, that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, but as soon as he runs HQ, I think all those Lakshmi counters disappear.
That's quite possible. There could well be a gens in HQ. I mean, there will be a gens in HQ, right? That's what Lakshmi's for. So he's going to check the remote and check if it's Jackson. We're going to get a reveal of a GFI. Uh-oh. Okay.
So he's right to go. Like, he could have lost the game.
So there's GFI on the table. He can't. So he can lose next turn with the Baltic and Jeeves. So that GFI can be scored. So Dave has to win this turn, which is going to be difficult when there are still, let's say, 8 counters on Lakshmi. So he's got the keyhole, he's got the SMC. The SMC will get him a clone chip, I expect, during his next run. Dave should absolutely remember to trigger that DDoS. I really hope he doesn't forget.
Yeah, well, I don't think he'll forget.
I'm just nervous for him.
Yeah. It's tough now because you can't score GFIs.
So here's a fun backup question. How many cards are in R&D? Because let's not forget that Dave has equivocation, so he can mill 2 per click if he can get to R&D. And milling is 100%.
Oh, I forgot equivocation makes this deck
condition.
Bonkers, doesn't it?
So he popped the DDoS. He's going to presumably keyhole. I didn't see him point a keyhole, but let's say he did. Going to false echo that one. Let's clean chip false echo that one. Let's clean chip false echo that one. Let's SMC.
So instead of yes, okay, no, equivocation is so good in this deck. I hadn't really thought about that. But he has spent 4 clicks already.
Yep. So he can currently mill 10 more cards. So if there are 10 or fewer cards, so he's going to SMC false echo that. I wonder if he uses the fan site. He is going to use the fan site to get probably equivocation. Let's find out. Getting horrible flashbacks. There's equivocation. All right. So the plan is he's going to access.
So does equivocation work with keyhole?
It absolutely does. Not at the same time. So what happens is he got it. He milled him. So Dan checked counter cards in his deck and he had fewer than 10, which means that Dave would have been able to mill him out over the course of that turn, regardless of Lakshmi counters or anything like that. Yeah. Amazing. Well played, Dan.
Yeah.
Well played, Dave.
Yeah, well done indeed.
Both. Hate milling. I hate milling a lot.
Do you hate milling? I like milling.
Oh, I know you like milling.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, amazing. Congratulations to Dave. That is incredible. So quick recap. There was a lot of very slow play early on, which is not to say slow turns, but just kind of build up. Dan was establishing a board state. Dave was establishing a board state. A lot of net installing going on. Dan snuck out 2 ABTs. We had a somewhat contentious ruling on the first ABT fire, which I'm sure will be recovered at a later point. I got up to 4 points. One of the ABTs whiffed, which threw a Vitruvius in the bin, so Dave got 2 points from that. And then Dan put what turned out to be a GFI on the table, and Dave decided to combo. He checked the remote, saw his GFI, Lakshmi protected it, so he knew he had to win that turn, but he was able to false echo the ice away, drop the keyhole and equivocation, and he was able to mill out R&D.
The exact reason I can never play Dyper is I would have thought, I'm fine for another turn. Like, I never see the way I'm going to lose, and then, oh yes, no, he can score out.
Dave is fastidious with he has lost. So surprising Dyper is one of the best ways of beating it. So he is very, very good at identifying when he thinks he can lose in one turn. And a mystery remote on the table of Jeeves, Bartik in hand, and
a lot of money,
bunch of Lakshmi counters are a definite candidate for losing when the court's on 4 points.
Yes, it is.
Incredible. Yeah. So no need for Lakshmi. There was he checked, so it was a GFI, of course, but importantly, it also was not a Jackson. So he knew that the mill was definitely a possibility. Wow, incredible. All right, so we're going to take a short break now. I'm not sure how long. In fact, round 2 is probably not that far away from starting. We'll find out who we're going to get. Oh, hello world.
Hello.
We'll find out who we're going to get on camera in round 2, and we'll be back very soon.